next time when you are going over, you are going to see what is the points when you are talking about this. Thank you so much. Oh, this is another one. Are we not going to fufuta this other?
No.
Augustus. Hello. But that they put in another gadget.
Okay, it depends on the what duration. So this still has 34% of when I've already started recording.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's alright.
Okay, so you have put it on?
Yeah.
Then this is another subject now, which is the financial reporting. A very easy question. Why is reporting very important in organizations? A cheap one, that is somebody should say thank you for putting this. But people could not answer well.
You mean you have already marked?
Come again?
You have already marked?
Some I've marked, but they have not finished.
So you didn't answer well?
Others didn't. You get disappointed to say, financial reporting. Financial reporting, we have questions on that, exam questions. The first question was in financial analysis.
Sorry, I just want to confirm how the mic and the.
So he said this is the same.
Yeah, sorry.
Good. The first question had also two questions that were related, but contained 10 marks each. And then we say the first question is the financial analysis. What are the points that we should write when we're talking about financial analysis? Financial analysis? Augustus?
Financial analysis? Giving up ratios of how you analyze financial of an organization.
You talk about the financial statements, is it? Because you cannot analyze when you don't talk about them. You cannot. How are you going to analyze? You are supposed to talk about them. And then in the financial statements, maybe talk about how you can analyze. This is through finding out the liquidity. Is it? The other one? Okay. Just ETC. Analysis. What else should you talk about? What else should you talk about? Talk about what?
Importance of analyzing.
Come again?
Importance of analyzing.
Importance.
Importance of financial analysis.
Importance of which means you are talking about the advantages. Obviously, we have to have a dual.
And limitations.
Limitations. Or else it has to be here. Limitations of financial analysis. With a 10 mark, I think that's not bad, is it? Yes.
What else?
Come again?
Yeah, if it is 20, what else?
Should you write?
Zomwe zilikuwa nazo 20.
No, you can write more on, let's say, financial reporting and analysis, where you are going to talk about investors, is it? You talk about why it is important. You talk about the creditors, because we are talking about 20, financial integrity, isn't it? Augustus, are you with us?
I think so it is, but then when
We are talking about when it is 20 marks. What else should you write if you are against integrity?
Like for me,
Yes.
what I did was I talked about the three financial statements.
Good.
And then I think when I was talking about the financial statements, it gave me three paragraphs.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked about the balance sheet, income, and the cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
And then I talked about the importance, and that's what I talked about.
Yes.
So I think that should take me to 20 marks. Because it has to be 5. Yeah.
But this one was a 10 mark.
So is it 10 marks one?
Yes.
And then
It's-
it was amazing.
It is a 10 mark.
Kwame nanalemba zambiri zikangwa.
Mona, what is your comment?
Yes, ukangasi mwina kwina abusana.
Always, when you know what? Always, where there are more things or many comments, in most cases they are bad.
Oh. They're just internal.
They are bad. So all of you are saying, yeah, I'm with
Yeah,
him.
but what he's talking about, he has covered everything there. Because financial statements, he has mentioned the three, and he explained them. Then he talked about the importance and the limitations. Yeah.
But it was a 10 mark.
We can also talk about the tools. Because of that. Even someone know you use it. So that is why the 10 has to be given.
You know what? At least 2 marks for the 10. Am I? Am I? Unless I give all marks, unless it's smartly written and then no cancellations there, that is yours. But with the cancellations, 2 marks is mine. Okay. No, in fact, I was very lenient. Don't worry. So this is the first one. The second one is what? The part B of the first question. Oh yeah, because the exam is taken away from you. Financial reporting. The analytical tools.
Yeah.
What should you talk about?
Madam, I have a question.
You have a question? Good.
When it comes to analytical tools, this is most
Analysis. Yes. It's the same. That's why in the first exam of the first subject, I said, you know, sometimes I do that deliberately for you not to be troubled of thinking what are these all about. Mm. No. Sometimes you tend to think, no. You mean to the mods? No, they're the same. They're the same. You explain the same and then just identify the analytical tools that you know. Most people did very well, in fact, this one. So a 10 mark is not something that you can get scared of. Yes. So you talk about what you wrote in the first part of A, question 1. Then you just have to indicate the analytical tools that are there. Yes. I remember when I was marking this one, I remembered her that she talked about a different analytical tool the time we were learning about analytical tools. So this is exactly, it's the same question, but just extend it to the examples of that. And I remember this other one could even explain to me that this analytical tool, we find out this when we're analyzing, which is very good. If it was a 20, I even wanted to give a 20 instead of a 10 because it was written very nice. I said, this is beautiful. So I don't know. That's why I'm saying when I'm marking, you don't know. You write your IDs number, is it? Timakarapo, you take it there, you mark. When you are entering in the sheet, that's when you take it. Say, oh, this is Mona. That's when, oh, Mona's taken this percentage. That's how it is. You can't waste time seeing then you are going to be biased. Just mark. After marking, when you are entering the marks, that's when you know that this is Augustus or this is Dorothy. Otherwise, as I've just marked, it's difficult for me to know that this one has taken this much. Next week, we are going to see your marks. Sure. So the first part that Dorothy we were saying is the same with the second part. Only that the second part, you just have to extend a bit by giving these examples of the analytical tools. But otherwise, it was one question. Sure. So Augustus was saying, no, ma'am, sometimes when you ask the same question, you tend to think that now this is not the right thing. Maybe ma'am wants more than what I am writing. No. They're the same things, but just giving in the analytical tools. And sometimes I remember this other one I was telling our friends to say, She wrote very well by even giving what a reporter is going to analyze about, which is very good. So these are some of the things that we should note, and that we should be writing that to convince a marker. The second question is discuss financial reporting in organizations. I know it was maybe open-ended. People wrote different ideas. Why is reporting important in organizations? Importance of financial reporting. Mon, why should we report in organizations? Is it necessary? Is it necessary? Even those are the ideas I wanted. Where the company's what? Shows what? Where the company stands? Stands like that? Good. The other thing that we should talk about when we're talking about Augustus, about the reporting importance in organization.
Managers to make informed decisions.
Helps decision making in or by managers. This question was not supposed to be for year 3 people. This was maybe supposed to, I'm telling you. The other thing that we should think about when we're talking about the importance of financial reporting. Investors. Helps investors to what? The other thing, we're talking about how many marks? 20. Yes, 20.
Helps suppliers to ascertain that they are going to be paid. They do business with such a company.
Suppliers to know whether they will be paid. Shows profitability.
It also gives employees job security.
The other one?
It also facilitates business planning. I think in future projects you look at how much you have as in the finance department in order to make plans.
Facilitates the
Business planning, forecasting.
one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. There are many. With 20 marks, you can write 5 to give you to yourself. Let's say what 4, whatever. And you just have to do that. Or even write as many as you can. You say, I should convinced so that I should get all marks. So far you don't love. Should be smart. Look at that. Cheapest question. Maybe these others you'd say, but this one doesn't even think, you don't even need to go into books. There's so many. Then we have the third one. We have the third one. The third question that we had on exam. Long-lived assets. Long-lived assets.
I'm sure I'm gonna go for marks on that one. But she's the one who expects everything from me.
Is it?
Yeah. Until every morning.
You're saying me?
No. Who expect nobody to ask? It was Mona.
Oh, you remember that?
You write it.
So one question I remembered more. I was like, yo.
Yeah, Mona answered for us, so I can remember. Good. So what we are saying is that long-lived. What should we talk about when we're talking about long-lived? Okay, current assets, non-current or fixed. The word that we talked about in the presentation,
About tangible assets such as
the PPE, is it?
the
The PPE. Okay. Okay, so we are saying we have, when we're talking about fixed, we have part A, which is what? Tangible. B. Okay, because it's a 20 marks, is it? Yes. The other thing that we talk about is what? Long-lived.
Yeah, how I explained it, I did that, but then what I did was I explained PPE in intangible, and in intangible I explained about goodwill, I explained about trademark. So every single thing that I was explaining had its own paragraph.
Okay, good. Then you talk about that, you are through with the 20 marks? Yes, 20 marks. It was question 3, 20 marks. Dorothy, you have not said anything?
When we talk of long-lived assets, we also talk about how long they are going
Good.
to be used in the organization,
Mm-hmm.
which is more than 1 year.
Okay.
Also, we talk about the
Length of use in the company. Good. Other thing,
the
value of what? Of the asset?
of the assets. Mostly, it gets high value. It has high value.
Alo, ndikuimbira chama 2 o'clock. Ndikuimbira chama 2 o'clock. You wanted us to go now? Iye amanena kuti asakutenga nthawi ya. Pita naye ndiyeno I will phone you 2 o'clock, maybe ndikusatirani komweko. But just go with Zidana, then coming back I will pick you. So we are saying length of the use in the company as well as the value of the asset. Okay. Then how about recognition of that? Of long-lived, how can we recognize them? Is it not supposed to be written in there? Mm-hmm. Also recognition. Recognition of an asset. Why should we talk about recognition of an asset? Because you have talked about something that are intangible. Okay? It's difficult to say that this is an asset. What are the qualities? How do you recognize it to be an asset? Because you're not going to see it. So recognition is also very, very important when we're talking about long-lived assets. Augustus, is it all right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So others wrote very well, those that have marked. And I remember they could even give the PPE examples and so on, which was very good. Which was very good. I think with the 20 marks, the four topics or the 4 ideas that you have put in can put you to there. Another thing that maybe we have forgotten that should be put there, Mona? Okay, yes, you can talk about depreciation inside the tangible. How about here? What should you talk about? Okay, impairment and mortality. Yeah, so you can talk about that just to put more meat in the 20 marks that you want to get. I know others have tried this one. It was a very good approach was very good. This presentation we have, is it?
Oh, yeah.
The PPE we have. Okay. With the 20 mark, can you talk about the R&D?
What?
The R&D, the research and development. You remember we talked about that? Don't remember?
There was that question also.
No, I mean to say adding on the same, if you want to explain more about that. You know,
So the other point is R&D.
yes. Can you remember that? Can you remember? You don't. But in our presentation we have.
So we'll study.
We talked about research and development that it cannot be an asset, but sometimes development basing on it being recognized as an asset. You can also talk about that. You remember that? You remember, Dorothy?
No. And the presentation for long-lived assets is long.
It is long.
Yeah.
But even if you can write that, it's fine. But I was looking into, let's say, if you can go deep and talk about the research and development, R&D, research and development. Research and development, you can talk about. We said this, when you are doing that, that is just a revenue, but here it can be something when recognized to have if it can be an asset where it can give a benefit in future, it can be an asset. A long-lived asset. So that is that when we're talking about long-lived assets. I wanted to find the slide that talks about the research and development in the long presentation that we had. Maybe we just have to go to the next question, which is what? The next question, exam question, is the research. We have, you are a financial reporting manager. Stipulate the rules for intangible assets. This one, you started it already, isn't it? Okay, definition itself, that is very important. This, the other thing, okay, examples of that. Examples of intangible assets. Good. The other thing that you should write about is what? Again? Recognition of the intangible assets. Then we have the other one. What? It's a 20 marks. Mona. What should you write about that again? Okay. Wait a minute. Like that. The other thing that we can think about when we're talking about the 20 marks, intangible assets. Yes, disposal. So for the intangible asset, I think that can be enough, is it? But at 20 marks, is it? Because the other part is already with you. You had already written in your other question that you had. So you just have to continue by explaining more about that. So that was the 20 marks for the first question. And then we have the fifth question. Differences between GAAP and IRS. It's in your book, man.
That one I didn't write.
But that one is in your book.
It is in our
Yeah,
book.
but you know, madam, even when you were
When you look at 20 marks and then how you can explain Kulu, you should have 20 marks. Hey,
and also IRS. IRS, I find different things. Even on my assignment, I wrote very different things. So
So you could not remember them.
no, I remember them more, but I didn't want to lose marks.
In fact, this time it should be IRS, but it has to be International Financial.
I think Penny wrote that one.
It's not me, but you know what?
I write other things that I find. So-
Okay.
So I didn't want
To confuse yourself.
to write it on the exam because I know repeatedly you talk about IFRS when there is IRS.
It's in the course outline that they just got that.
Yeah, so
I didn't see that.
I didn't want to write that. And
Our subject
even when
is
I was
financial
studying,
reporting. So it's that. In fact, they just write that most course outlines, they write that it should be done. So, GAAP, you just write. What should you write? Maybe. Then what should you write? Mona? Mona something. What should you say? What should you write about GAP? Definition, okay, thank you. The other thing that we should write about?
Like, at what level is it used? Is it international or national level?
Okay, level of use. Good.
If that makes sense. In their gender, national. Sokonezi wamaisha ile.
No, you know what, Augusta, international, it means it should be beyond national. Okay?
So the I in IRS is international.
Yes.
International Financial Reporting Standards.
Jesus.
Okay.
Yes. So, definition, level of use, the other thing. The other thing that you should talk about the GAP. What do they base on when they're making the GAP? We have them in our notes, isn't it? Basis of writing GAP. You remember that? We have so many. The going concern, one day we'll talk about how mainly the accounting procedures that we base on. That's what they also base on. The other thing that we should write about GAP. So when you are talking about that, you are supposed to talk about all how they write the GAP. It means it's Chachikuruka.
Maybe we can also talk about limitations on that.
Okay, yes. But here you should also write all those, the relevance and so on, is it? That's what I'm talking about, relevance of that. Then we should also write the importance, limitation on it.
Now we can also talk about the importance of. So same as we're talking about the advantage of GAP and the disadvantage of it.
Maybe limitations only because you are talking about that. Then, because of here, you can choose of talking about, let's say, 4 about the basis of writing. Is it?
We can also talk about how it corresponds to international agenda.
X correspondence.
So since this is my boy.
Like we say, no, I'm not tackling this one.
Look at that. So this is only for GAP. It means it's not only one page, it's the other side. How about the IRS or IFRS? started with revenue recognition.
Yeah.
We said, how do we recognize revenue? We are reporters. As we are reporters, we should know which is revenue and which is not, because we're supposed to report. So what did we say? How we should recognize revenue?
I just remember that we're discussing like examples.
Good. Mhm.
Like fixed asset or tangible assets.
Mhm.
They are recognized in balance sheet,
Mhm.
and